The explosion rocked the command bridge, sending Lieutenant Commander Adam Iverson tumbling to the floor amidst a shower of sparks and broken glass. Blood trickled down his forehead as emergency klaxons wailed throughout the USS Relentless. The ship had taken a direct hit from the alien dreadnought that had appeared seemingly out of nowhere in Earth's orbit 12 hours earlier. "Status report," Adam shouted over the cacophony of alarms and the hiss of rupturing conduits. His communications officer, Sarah Keller, frantically worked her console, which flickered and sparked under her fingers. "Sir, we've lost contact with decks 4 through 7. Life support is failing ship-wide. Engineering reports the main reactor is critically damaged." Adam pulled himself to his feet, grimacing at the pain shooting through his left leg. A piece of shrapnel had embedded itself in his thigh, but there was no time to deal with that now. The tactical display showed the grim reality the Relentless was the last operational vessel in Earth's defense fleet. The other 15 ships lay scattered across space, either destroyed or disabled. "Open a channel to the alien vessel," Adam ordered, his voice steady despite the chaos around him. "Channel open, sir," Sarah replied, her face pale with fear. The main viewscreen flickered to life, revealing a being that still sent chills down Adam's spine despite having seen it several times over the past 12 hours. The alien commander, who had identified himself as Supreme War Leader Kralix of the Dravari Imperium, possessed 6 dark eyes arranged in a hexagonal pattern on a face covered in scaled plates. Its mouth was a vertical slit that pulsed with bioluminescent light when it spoke. "Human vessel," Kralix's voice boomed through the speakers, translated by the ship's computer. "Your resistance is both futile and tiresome. Your weaponry cannot penetrate our shields. Your tactics are primitive. Your species has proven unworthy of inclusion in the galactic community." Adam stood straighter, ignoring the pain in his leg. "We've managed to hold you off for 12 hours with our primitive tactics. I'd say that warrants some respect." The alien's eyes narrowed, the vertical slit of its mouth glowing brighter. "You have earned nothing but a swift death. Your planet's resources will serve the Imperium well. We require no survivors." "There are billions of innocent people on Earth," Adam argued. "Most of them aren't even involved in this conflict. Allow us to." "Enough," Kralix interrupted. "The Dravari Imperium has declared this world forfeit. I have monitored your transmissions. I understand your concepts of surrender and mercy. Know this, human, there will be no mercy. Your species ends today." The transmission cut off, leaving only the tactical display showing the massive alien dreadnought repositioning itself, energy readings spiking as it prepared to launch what would surely be a planet-killing weapon. Adam stood silently for a moment, then turned to his executive officer, Lieutenant Ryan Torres. "Evacuate the ship. All personnel to escape pods. Set course for Earth." Torres looked shocked. "Sir, you can't be serious. The alien vessel will pick them off one by one." "Not if they have something else to focus on," Adam replied, moving to the tactical station. "I'm staying aboard." "That's suicide, sir," Torres protested. Adam accessed the ship's main systems, bypassing several safety protocols. "The reactor is already going critical. I can override the containment protocols and direct all remaining power to the engines and forward shields. One final run." The bridge crew stared at him in stunned silence. "That's an order, people," Adam barked. "Evacuate now." As the crew reluctantly filed out, Torres lingered. "Sir, let me stay. You should lead the evacuation." Adam shook his head. "Someone needs to coordinate with Earth's ground defenses. That's you now, Ryan." After a moment's hesitation, Torres nodded and left the bridge. Adam was alone. He worked quickly, rerouting power systems and preparing the ship for its final mission. The escape pods launched in sequence, small blips on his tactical display heading toward Earth. The alien dreadnought, still charging its main weapon, seemed to pay them little attention. Adam sat in the captain's chair, taking manual control of the ship. The Relentless groaned around him, systems failing throughout the vessel. The reactor warning reached critical status, a countdown appearing on his display, 8 minutes until containment failure. He opened a channel to the alien vessel. "Kralix, this is Lieutenant Commander Adam Iverson of the USS Relentless. The alien commander appeared on screen, seeming amused. "Have you called to beg for your life, human?" "No," Adam replied calmly. "I wanted you to see my face when I destroy your ship." Kralix made a sound that the translator interpreted as laughter. "Your vessel is crippled. Your weapons are depleted. Your crew has abandoned you. What threat could you possibly pose?" "You'll find out soon enough," Adam said, his fingers dancing over the control panel. The alien commander's expression shifted to one of contempt. "I declare no mercy for you or your world, human. Die knowing your species will be forgotten." Adam smiled, a cold, determined expression that didn't reach his eyes. "No mercy," he whispered. "Perfect." He cut the transmission and pushed the engines to maximum. The Relentless lurched forward, accelerating toward the massive alien dreadnought. Alarms blared warnings about structural integrity, reactor containment, and a dozen other failing systems, but Adam ignored them all. The alien vessel grew larger in the viewscreen as the Relentless charged toward it. Energy weapons lanced out from the dreadnought, impacting the forward shields of the human ship. The shields flickered and failed in sections, but the Relentless continued its desperate charge. Adam's tactical display showed the alien vessel attempting to move away, but the massive ship was slow to change course. 6 minutes until reactor containment failure. The Relentless would reach the dreadnought in 5. "Not so confident now, are you?" Adam muttered, making minor course corrections to ensure the Relentless would impact the alien vessel's most vulnerable section where his sensors detected the highest energy readings. More weapons fire from the dreadnought tore into the Relentless, ripping away sections of the hull. Emergency bulkheads slammed shut throughout the ship, but atmosphere was venting from multiple breaches. The bridge itself began to depressurize, forcing Adam to grab an emergency oxygen mask from under the captain's chair. 5 minutes to reactor containment failure. 4 minutes to impact. Adam's console flickered as power fluctuations rippled through the ship. He bypassed more safety systems, rerouting emergency power to the engines and what remained of the forward shields. The Relentless surged forward again, trailing debris and venting atmosphere like blood in the water. The alien dreadnought loomed large now, filling the viewscreen. Adam could see details of its hull's strange geometric patterns and glowing conduits that pulsed with energy. The massive weapon at the front of the vessel continued to charge, aimed at Earth. 4 minutes to reactor containment failure. 3 minutes to impact. A new alarm sounded and Adam glanced at the sensor readings. The alien vessel had launched smaller craft fighters or interceptors of some kind. They streaked toward the Relentless, weapons firing. Adam had anticipated this and had one last card to play. He activated the ship's remaining defensive weaponry, not targeting the fighters but focusing all fire on a single point on the dreadnought's hull. It was a seemingly insignificant spot, but his sensors had detected fluctuations in the shield pattern there, if he could open even a small breach. The fighters closed in, their weapons tearing into the Relentless. The ship shuddered violently, and structural integrity warnings flashed across Adam's console. Part of the ceiling collapsed behind him, crushing the science station, if he had been standing there. 3 minutes to reactor containment failure. 2 minutes to impact. The defensive weapons of the Relentless continued to hammer at the same spot on the dreadnought's hull. Then, a momentary flicker, a gap in the shields. Adam immediately adjusted the Relentless's course, aiming directly for that weak point. The alien fighters seemed to realize his intent and intensified their attack. A massive explosion rocked the ship as one of the warp nacelles was hit. The Relentless spun wildly for a moment before Adam regained control, but the ship was now severely damaged. Systems failed across the board, leaving only the most basic maneuvering and life support. 2 minutes to reactor containment failure. 1 minute to impact. Adam's oxygen mask beeped a warning the supply was running low. Not that it mattered. He wouldn't need air much longer. The ship's structural integrity was failing. He could hear the hull groaning around him as the Relentless strained under the stress of its final charge. The dreadnought filled the entire viewscreen now. Adam could see the weak point he was aiming for, a section where several energy conduits converged. If he could breach the hull there, the resulting cascade failure would a massive impact through Adam from his chair. One of the alien fighters had made a kamikaze run at the bridge. The view screen shattered, replaced by emergency force fields that flickered erratically. Half the bridge was gone, exposed to the vacuum of space. Adam pulled himself back to the captain's chair, blood floating in globules around him as the artificial gravity fluctuated. His leg wound had reopened, and fresh blood seeped through his uniform. The pain was intense, but he forced himself to focus on the controls. 1 minute to reactor containment failure. 30 seconds to impact, the ship's computer spoke in a calm voice that contrasted starkly with the destruction around him. Warning, reactor containment failure imminent. Evacuation recommended. Adam laughed despite himself. No kidding. He made one final course adjustment, ensuring the Relentless would strike precisely at the weak point in the dreadnought's shields. The alien vessel's weapons continued to fire, but they seemed almost desperate now, as if Kralix had realized Adam's intent. "This is for Earth," Adam whispered as the distance closed. 30 seconds to reactor containment failure. 10 seconds to impact. Adam closed his eyes briefly, thinking of his family on Earth, his parents in Seattle, his sister and her children in Chicago. All the billions of people who would never know how close they came to extinction today, or perhaps they would if his plan failed. "Not today," Adam said, eyes snapping open. "Not on my watch." 5 seconds to impact. The Relentless slammed into the dreadnought at the precise point Adam had targeted. The already failing human vessel crumpled on impact, but its momentum carried it through the momentary gap in the alien shields. The bow of the Relentless punched into the hull of the dreadnought, breaching the alien vessel. Adam was thrown forward, slamming into the console. Pain exploded through his body as ribs cracked. The bridge disintegrated around him, emergency force fields failing completely. His last conscious thought was that he hadn't needed to worry about the reactor containment after all. The USS Relentless's reactor went critical inside the alien dreadnought. The resulting explosion tore through the massive vessel, following energy conduits and setting off secondary explosions throughout the ship. The dreadnought's own power core destabilized, creating a chain reaction that tore the alien vessel apart from within. From the surface of Earth, it appeared as a new star briefly blooming in the sky before fading. In the command center of Earth Defense Force headquarters, Lieutenant Ryan Torres watched the sensor readings with a mixture of grief and triumph. "He did it," Torres whispered. "That crazy son of a, he actually did it." The mood in the command center shifted from despair to cautious hope as the alien dreadnought disappeared from their sensors. The smaller alien craft, suddenly without a command vessel, broke off their attack and retreated to the outer system. Admiral Helena Chen, commander of Earth's defenses, placed a hand on Torres's shoulder. "Your captain saved us all, Lieutenant. His sacrifice won't be forgotten." Torres nodded, unable to speak past the lump in his throat, but the story of Adam Iverson was far from over. In the vacuum of space, among the debris of both human and alien vessels, a single escape pod drifted silently. Inside, life support systems maintained minimum function as the automated medical unit worked to stabilize its sole occupant. Adam Iverson lay unconscious, his body broken but alive. In the final seconds before impact, the ship's emergency systems had activated, ejecting the captain's chair, which doubled as an emergency escape pod from the bridge. It was a feature Adam himself had forgotten about, designed for situations exactly like this one. The pod's beacon transmitted on standard emergency frequencies, but with the destruction of both the Relentless and the alien dreadnought, there was significant interference. The signal was weak, intermittent, and easily missed amid the chaos of the aftermath. Aboard one of the smaller alien vessels retreating from Earth, a sensor operator detected the faint signal. She reported it to her superior, who in turn brought it to the attention of the ship's commander, War Captain Drezik, a human life sign. Drezik asked, his four-fingered hand moving across the control panel to enhance the sensor readings. "Amidst the debris field." "Yes, War Captain," the sensor operator confirmed. It appears to be in some form of escape vessel. The life signs are weak but present. Drezik considered this information. The Supreme War leader was dead, the invasion fleet scattered, and the mission a catastrophic failure. The Dravari Imperium had underestimated these humans, particularly the one who had destroyed their flagship. "Bring the human aboard," Drezik ordered after a moment of contemplation. "Ensure it receives medical attention." His second-in-command looked shocked. "War Captain, our orders were to eliminate all humans." "Our orders came from Supreme War Leader Kralix, who is now dead," Drezik responded coldly. "I wish to understand how a single human in a damaged vessel managed to destroy our most advanced dreadnought. For that, I need it alive." The second-in-command saluted, recognizing the logic. "As you command, War Captain." The alien vessel changed course, approaching the drifting escape pod cautiously. Using a tractor beam, they brought the small human craft into their cargo bay. Medical personnel in protective gear opened the pod to find Adam Iverson barely clinging to life. Multiple broken bones, internal bleeding, severe concussion, radiation exposure, the list of injuries was extensive. By rights, he should already be dead. "This human is remarkably resilient," noted the chief medical officer Telvin as they transferred Adam to their medical bay. "Most species would have succumbed to these injuries long ago." "Can you keep it alive?" Drezik asked, observing from the doorway of the medical bay. "Yes, War Captain," Telvin replied, "though healing will take time." "Human physiology is similar enough to species we have encountered before that our medical technologies should be effective." "Proceed," Drezik ordered. "I want it conscious as soon as possible. There are questions it must answer." While Adam Iverson fought for his life in the alien medical bay, Earth celebrated its unexpected victory. The escape pods from the Relentless had safely reached the planet, bringing first-hand accounts of Lieutenant Commander Iverson's heroic final charge. Memorial services were held, medals awarded posthumously, and his name added to the list of humanity's greatest heroes. Only Lieutenant Torres harbored doubts. "We never found his body," he told Admiral Chen during a debriefing. "The escape pod from the captain's chair is missing from the debris field." "Lieutenant," the admiral said gently, "the explosion was massive. Many fragments were either destroyed completely or scattered across a wide area. It's more likely the pod was vaporized in the blast." Torres nodded reluctantly. "Yes, madam, of course," but he couldn't shake the feeling that Adam Iverson might still be out there somewhere. 3 weeks passed. On the alien vessel, now hidden in the asteroid belt of Earth's solar system, Adam Iverson finally regained consciousness. His first sensation was pain, dull but persistent throughout his body. His second was confusion at the strange environment around him. He lay on a firm surface that conformed to his body, inside what appeared to be a transparent medical pod. Strange devices hummed around him, and through the clear material of the pod, he could see a room with curved walls and unfamiliar technology. Adam tried to move but found his body unresponsive. Not paralyzed, he could feel everything, including the pain, but somehow restrained by an invisible force. A door slid open, and a Dravari entered the room. This one was different from Kralix's smaller, with paler scales and only 4 eyes instead of 6. It approached the pod and touched a control panel, causing the top portion to retract. "You are awake," the alien stated in accented but understandable English. "Good. You are called Adam Iverson, yes." Adam tried to speak, but his throat was dry and raw. The alien seemed to anticipate this and held a container with a straw to his lips. The liquid was cool and slightly sweet, soothing his parched throat. "Yes," Adam managed after drinking. "Lieutenant Commander Adam Iverson, USS Relentless, and you are—" "I am War Captain Drezik of the Dravari scout vessel Vector," the alien replied. "You destroyed our dreadnought and killed Supreme War Leader Kralix." It wasn't a question, but Adam answered anyway. "I did. Your leader was about to destroy my planet." Drezik made a gesture that Adam couldn't interpret. "A single human in a damaged vessel destroyed the most advanced warship in the Dravari fleet. This requires explanation." Nothing to explain, Adam said, wincing as pain shot through his chest when he tried to shift position. You threatened my home. I did what was necessary. You charged alone against a superior force when your leader declared no mercy, Drezek stated. This is not logical, it is not self-preserving. Adam managed a weak smile. Sometimes logic and self-preservation aren't the highest priorities. Drezek studied him with unblinking eyes. What is, then? Protecting those who can't protect themselves, Adam replied. Ensuring a future for my species, standing against tyranny. The alien was silent for a long moment. Interesting. The Supreme War leader believed humans were primitive, concerned only with immediate survival needs. You display more complex motivations. We're full of surprises, Adam said. Why am I alive? Why am I here? Your escape pod was detected among the debris, Drezek explained. I ordered you retrieved and healed. Your injuries were severe. You have been unconscious for 23 of your Earth days. Adam processed this information. And now, am I a prisoner? You are. Drezek seemed to search for the right word. A puzzle to be solved. The Dravari Imperium has conquered 17 worlds across 12 star systems. Never has a single individual of any species managed what you accomplished. So what happens next? Adam asked, trying again to move against whatever force held him immobile. That depends on you, Drezek replied. The invasion fleet has scattered. Some vessels have returned to Dravari space. Others, like mine, remain in your system, hidden and observing, waiting for reinforcements, Adam asked, tension building inside him despite his weakened state. No, Drezek said. The Imperium will not commit more resources to this campaign. Your victory, however temporary, has bought your world time. The Dravari Council will need to reassess the threat humans pose before authorizing another invasion. Relief flooded through Adam, though he tried not to show it. Earth was safe, at least for now. His sacrifice, or what should have been his sacrifice, had achieved its purpose. And what about you, War Captain? Adam asked. Why are you still here if the invasion is called off? Drezek's vertical mouth pulsed with light. Curiosity. I wish to understand humans better. You in particular, Adam Iverson, the one who declared perfect when faced with certain death. Adam frowned. How do you know what I said? The transmission was cut. Our systems continued to monitor your vessel, Drezek explained. We recorded everything until the moment of impact. Your words and actions in those final moments are not consistent with our understanding of sentient behavior. Let me guess, Adam said. The Dravari would never sacrifice themselves like that. Not quite, Drezek replied. Sacrifice for the collective is honored in our culture. But your manner, the calmness, the acceptance, the single-minded purpose, these are traits we associate with our most revered warriors, not with species we consider less evolved. Adam didn't know whether to be flattered or concerned by this assessment. So I'm a science experiment now. You are an opportunity for understanding, Drezek corrected. Knowledge that may prevent unnecessary conflict in the future. And if I refuse to cooperate, then you will remain here until you do, Drezek stated simply, or until you die of natural causes. Your injuries are healed enough that you will survive, but your full recovery requires additional treatment that we can provide. Adam considered his options, which seemed limited. He was effectively a prisoner, albeit one being kept alive for study rather than punishment. Earth was safe for the moment, and perhaps his presence here could help ensure it stayed that way. I'll answer your questions, Adam said finally. On one condition. Drezek tilted his head. You are not in a position to make conditions, human. Maybe not, Adam conceded. But if you want genuine cooperation rather than forced compliance, you'll listen. I want to send a message to Earth letting them know I'm alive and that the immediate threat is over. The alien considered this request. Why is this important to you? Because there are people who care about me who think I'm dead, Adam explained. And because my planet's defenses are still on high alert, which means any Dravari vessel detected will be attacked immediately, including yours. Drezek's eyes narrowed. You show concern for my vessel's safety. I show concern for avoiding unnecessary conflict, Adam replied, echoing Drezek's earlier words. Isn't that what you want too? After a long moment, Drezek nodded. Your message will be transmitted, but I will review it first. No tactical information about our location or capabilities can be included. Agreed, Adam said. Rest now, Drezek instructed. Your body requires more healing. We will speak again when you are stronger. As the alien left the medical bay, Adam closed his eyes, a mixture of emotions washing over him. Relief that Earth was safe, concern about his captivity, curiosity about these aliens who had gone from would-be conquerors to cautious researchers. Most of all, he felt a sense of purpose. If his presence here could help prevent another invasion, could help the Dravari understand humans as something more than resources to be exploited, then perhaps his sacrifice hadn't ended with the destruction of the dreadnought. Perhaps it was just beginning in a different form. Over the next several days, Adam's condition improved rapidly under the care of the Dravari medical technology. The invisible restraint field was gradually reduced as he proved he wasn't a threat to himself or the crew. He was allowed limited movement around the medical bay, though always under observation. Drezek visited daily, asking questions about human culture, governance, psychology, and history. Adam answered honestly but carefully, aware that everything he said could influence the Dravari's future interactions with Earth. Your species is remarkably diverse in its thinking, Drezek observed during one such session. Most established species develop a more unified cultural approach over time. We value that diversity, Adam explained. Different perspectives lead to innovation and adaptation. It also leads to conflict, Drezek pointed out. Your history is filled with wars between human factions. Adam nodded. True, we're not perfect, but we learn from our mistakes even if it takes us a while. The Dravari eliminated internal conflict 10,000 years ago, Drezek said. The Imperium speaks with one voice, acts with one purpose. And what is that purpose? Adam asked. Expansion. Security, preservation of our species and way of life. At the expense of others, Drezek's mouth pulsed rapidly, a sign Adam had come to recognize as discomfort or defensiveness. Resources are finite. Species that cannot defend what they have do not deserve to keep it. That philosophy led your supreme war leader to underestimate us, Adam said carefully. It cost him his life and your Imperium a valuable warship. The alien was silent for a long moment. Yes, this is why the Council will reassess. This is why I study you. And what have you learned so far? Adam asked. That humans are more complex than our initial assessment suggested, Drezek admitted. Your willingness to self-sacrifice, your emotional attachments, your adaptive thinking, these are traits the Imperium values but did not expect to find in your species. Adam smiled slightly. We're full of surprises. 1 month after his rescue, Adam was deemed healthy enough to leave the medical bay. He was given quarters aboard the Vector, a small but comfortable room with a bed adapted to human physiology and access to a limited database of Dravari knowledge. His message had been transmitted to Earth as promised, though stripped of any details that might reveal the Vector's location. It was simple. He was alive, being treated well, and learning about the Dravari. The immediate threat to Earth was over, but vigilance was still necessary. The response came 3 days later, a carefully worded message from Admiral Chen acknowledging receipt of his communication and expressing relief at his survival. Reading between the lines, Adam could tell Earth's defenses remained on high alert, but the panic had subsided. Over the following weeks, Adam's role aboard the Vector evolved from prisoner to something closer to a diplomatic envoy. He was given more freedom to move about the ship, though certain areas remained restricted. The crew, initially wary, became accustomed to his presence. Some even sought him out, curious about humans and Earth. Drezek continued their discussions, but the nature of their conversations shifted. Rather than an interrogation, it became more of an exchange of ideas and perspectives. Your concept of cooperation between species is unusual, Drezek remarked during one such discussion. The Dravari encountered 18 sentient species before humans. All were either subjugated or eliminated. That's not a sustainable approach, Adam argued. Eventually, you'll encounter a species that's more powerful than the Dravari. What then? We adapt, we improve, We ensure we are never the weaker party, Drezek replied, but Adam detected uncertainty in his tone. There's always someone stronger, Adam said. But strength isn't just about weapons or technology. It's about building relationships, forming alliances, finding mutual benefit. The Imperium has existed for 12,000 years without allies, Drezek pointed out, and now you've suffered your first major defeat, Adam countered. Maybe it's time to consider a different approach. These conversations continued for months as the Vector maintained its position in the outer solar system, observing Earth from a distance. Adam became something of an advisor to Drezek, helping interpret human behaviors and communications the Dravari intercepted. 6 months after the failed invasion, a transmission arrived from Dravari space. Drezek was summoned to a private communication chamber, emerging hours later with news that would change everything. The Council has reached a decision, Drezek informed Adam. Based on my reports and the data collected during our stay in your system, they have determined that a direct conquest of Earth would be too costly in resources and lives. Adam felt a surge of relief. So Earth is safe, for now, Drezek qualified. The Council has authorized me to initiate preliminary diplomatic contact. Not an alliance, the Imperium does not form alliances, but a non-aggression agreement. That's unexpected, Adam said, genuinely surprised. From what you've told me about the Imperium, this is unprecedented. It is, Drezek confirmed. Your actions have forced a reassessment of Dravari expansion policy for the first time in millennia. The Council recognizes that some species may be more valuable as trading partners than as conquered subjects, and they've authorized you to negotiate this agreement. With your assistance, Drezek said, you understand both sides in a way no one else can. The Council believes your presence will facilitate successful negotiations. Adam considered this carefully. What exactly would this non-aggression agreement entail? Defined borders, trade protocols. Cultural exchange, mutual defense against common threats. That sounds more like an alliance than simple non-aggression, Adam observed. Drezek's mouth pulsed rapidly. Perhaps our definitions differ. The important point is that your world would be recognized as sovereign territory, not a target for conquest. And in return, access to specific resources, technology exchange under controlled conditions, and a commitment not to ally with enemies of the Imperium. Adam nodded slowly. I'll help facilitate these negotiations, but I can't guarantee Earth's governments will agree to all those terms. Understanding is the first step, Drezek said. We will return to Earth orbit and formally request diplomatic contact. 2 weeks later, the Vector decloaked in Earth orbit, causing immediate panic until Adam's face appeared on communication channels worldwide. Standing beside War Captain Drezek, he explained the Dravari's new position and the opportunity for peaceful relations. The negotiations that followed were tense and complex, stretching over months as Earth's united governments cautiously engaged with the Dravari representatives. Adam served as a bridge between the two species, helping each side understand the other's perspectives and concerns. 1 year after the day he had whispered perfect and charged alone against overwhelming odds, Lieutenant Commander Adam Iverson stood in the United Nations General Assembly as the first human Dravari non-aggression and cooperation treaty was signed. Admiral Chen approached him after the ceremony, a mixture of pride and amusement on her face. When you charged that dreadnought, did you ever imagine it would lead to this? Adam shook his head, watching as Drezek engaged in conversation with several world leaders. Not for a second. I just wanted to save Earth. You did more than that, Chen said. You may have changed the course of human history. First contact could have been the end of our species. Instead, it's opened the door to the stars. It almost was the end, Adam reminded her. If Kralix had been in command instead of Drezek. But he wasn't, Chen said, because you eliminated him. Your crazy, desperate act of courage created this opportunity. Adam smiled slightly. Sometimes the best negotiating position comes from showing you're willing to fight to the death. Let's hope we never have to make that point again, Chen replied. As Adam watched humans and Dravari cautiously beginning to interact, he reflected on the strange journey that had brought him here. From the desperate last stand aboard the Relentless to becoming humanity's first interspecies diplomat, none of it had been planned or expected. Drezek approached, his posture more relaxed than Adam had ever seen it. The Council is satisfied with the agreement. Your leaders have shown wisdom in their approach. They understand the value of peace, Adam said, and the cost of war. As do the Dravari, thanks to you, Drezek replied. One human, willing to die for their beliefs, has accomplished what 18 other species could not earn the respect of the Imperium. It wasn't just me, Adam said. It was you too, Drezek. You could have killed me when you found my escape pod. Instead, you chose understanding over elimination. The alien's eyes blinked in sequence, a gesture Adam had learned indicated thoughtful agreement. Perhaps we have both learned from each other. This is unexpected but not unwelcome. As the reception continued around them, Adam gazed out the windows at the New York skyline, thinking of how close this city and all cities on Earth had come to destruction. One desperate charge against overwhelming odds had changed everything. No mercy, the alien commander had declared. Perfect, Adam had whispered in response. And in that moment of acceptance, facing what should have been certain death, he had found not an ending but a beginning for himself and for humanity's place among the stars. The treaty signed that day would stand as the foundation for human-Dravari relations for generations to come. Earth gained access to technologies centuries beyond their development, while the Dravari gained valuable resources and cultural insights that enriched their ancient civilization. And Lieutenant Commander Adam Iverson, the man who charged alone against an alien dreadnought, became known throughout human space and the Dravari Imperium as the warrior who turned enemies into reluctant partners with a single desperate act of courage. Sometimes, the greatest victories come not from overwhelming force, but from the willingness of one individual to stand against impossible odds when everything they care about hangs in the balance.